I would also just like to know, like, if you are on a one-on-one date and then you get sent home at a big week like this, did they have some big country concert or some big thing planned for you? And then did that just, like, not get filmed and not happen? Did those people just not a part of it? So the next one-on-one goes to Hannah B, who's crazy. We have yet to see this episode. Actually, we haven't even heard her talk this episode, which is probably why she seems incredibly normal right now. Home is where the heart is. So she's probably going to meet Colton's family. And as we know, when you're one of the Twins on Ben seasons, then you go home. So this now will be the third one-on-one. There are still 4 other girls remaining: Kirpa, Cassie, Hannah G, and Heather. And so what happens to the 4 of them? Is there a 4-on-1 group date? Do you only pick one more of those 4? I wonder if they literally, like, keep the girls apart until the next day so that they can't talk about their dates, so that we see the real reactions. Because I'm like, if I got home and I'd be like, can you believe what this person said about me on the day? Like, I would need to know. Like, how did Kayla not come home and be like, knock, knock, knock on Tayshia's door and deal with it then? They must have, like, tied her to her bed. I would have been chomping at the bit to deal with that. The conversation with Kaylin and Tayshia was weird because Tayshia was like, you know, yeah, like, these were our opinions. We all sat around, talked about it, and we came up with like Cassie and Kaylin as people who might not be ready. But that's not what you told Colton. You told Colton she said she wanted to be the Bachelorette. And, like, that you've heard her talking about not being ready. It's different to have an opinion, so I don't know how I feel about that. And I feel like this could end up backfiring on Tayshia. I don't know. So here comes Hannah B, waltzing in Colton's parents' house, having no idea that she was doing it. Looking gorgeous, thank God, but I bet she's regretting that, like, sweatshirt crop top right now. It's just a little bit hard to imagine that in 2 weeks he's going to be like, and here's Hannah again in the middle of Bali or wherever they do the final couple of episodes. I don't know. Also, this University of Delaware hoodie, I'm pretty sure I got after we won a football game my freshman year of college. Colton's dad tells him to trust his gut, and Colton's mom tells Hannah B to be open with communication, and I think all signs point to Hannah B going home tonight because I don't think he's as into her as he is to everybody else, even though I do, at the end of the day, like her. So if he sends Hannah B home, then he'll have 2 hometown roses left for the group date, which will be Hannah G and Cassie, and Kirpa and Heather will go home. I get it now. Colton is about to dump Hannah B. He hasn't done it yet, but before he does, we get the group date card that says, saying goodbye is never easy, and Hannah G goes, that's really harsh. Yes, it is, Hannah G. Kirpa is definitely getting cooler by the minute, but I just am really struggling with all these girls who are like, well, you know, I don't think so-and-so's ready. But how do you know? She's not you. You're not trying to marry her. And that'd be a whole different show. And it's not you. So why don't you just get off her back? Sometimes you just have to give people enough rope that they will take care of the deed themselves. And that's not pretty to talk about, but it's true. Some people are just going to self-destruct, and we just have to let it happen so that they can learn a lesson. So Colton said 2 things in the beginning of the breakup with Hannah B that really bothered me. Number 1, I don't know if I can go into a relation, shake your father's hand if I have any doubts. You're going to have some doubts. It's a TV show. Second, he started with the words, I don't know if. That's a problem. When there is a breakup happening, nobody wants to hear I don't know, because when you don't know what to do, you don't do anything. Now, in the course of the show, he has to cut people, but, like, if you don't know, you don't do. And don't use I don't know as a soft landing for no. That doesn't work either. I'm very opinionated. Incredibly impressed with Hannah B and how she handled herself. She was like, I'm glad I know now. Like, I wouldn't want you to meet my family. Like, I wouldn't deserve that if you don't think it's me, whatever. And she said a lot of other things that I just thought in general were really, really good. Somebody get Colton a tie bar and teach him how to tie. The back roll of the tie is only 6 inches long. It's up to here. It looks like a baby tie behind his tie. And they're not connected. It looks horrible. Oh my God. As they take this really long walk, like in an airplane hangar or something, to get her to whatever car she's getting into, Hannah B keeps looking off to her left side, and some producers like, keep walking. You better keep walking to that car, girl. You better. All right, y'all, I'm starting to get a little tired, but we only have 36 minutes left, and it's 12:54 a.m. I think I'm going to make it. So because everybody else is going on a group date, it means that Tayshia and Kaylin are going to be at this house or loft or wherever they are by themselves for the day. I'd like to know what happens there. So Colton picks up the 4 girls who are left and takes them on a train ride over, like, mountains and bridges and things. And I just figure the 2 he doesn't want to meet their families, he'll just push them off the train and they'll fall into the gorge in, Colorado. Am I right? When is the last time he even talked to Heather? Like, when did that, 3 weeks ago? Like, when did that happen? So clearly he was never going to go home with Heather because he sat down and said hello, and she basically said, I don't feel comfortable with you, bring you home to my family. So Heather was like just there for the free drink this episode. This is like the happiest goodbye ever. What's going on? So they kiss goodbye, which is ironic because she hadn't been kissed before the show. He puts her on the train, they're smiling, and it's like, that's it. Like, couldn't all breakups just be that way? I mean, how realistic is it that he gets 20 or 30 minutes with each of these girls on a group date and then has to decide about meeting their families? It's kind of ridiculous, even though it's a part of the show. Cassie is crying and crying and crying, and while I feel bad about that, and I'm wondering if Tasia made up a lot of mean things, Cassie also seems really immature. So Kirpa used almost her entire time to talk about other people, so that's not going to get her anywhere. Furthermore, as they were walking to where they were sitting to talk, she had some sort of pink book with her. And when they were leaving where they were talking, Colton had the pink book with him. What is in the pink book? Is it a journal? Is it a diary? So clearly the producers were like, Colton, we're going to keep you occupied while we let some of these girls fight it out. Because now Cassie and Kirpa are fighting. It seems a little too fabricated at this point. Like, I wish there was audio footage of Cassie and Kaylin being like, we want to be the Bachelorette. I don't think it's true. So since the producers told him to drag this out more, Colton takes the 2 roses and he's like, well, I haven't figured out what I want to do yet. He hasn't even said hello to Hannah G yet, and she's just sitting there watching the rest of us all break down. But I guess we're going to have some dramatic thing in the evening part of the date. Probably some lame bluegrass band that only 6 people have heard of is going to be playing at something while he dances and simultaneously makes out with the 2 girls who he decides to take home. This is going to be just freaking glorious. This is just like weird editing. So Hannah and Kirpa and Cassie are sitting at dinner. Colton walks in, and he's like, I did get clarity on one thing today. And he says, Hannah, can I talk to you? So he takes her outside through the front doors of where they are. And for 30 seconds, we just watch Cassie and Kirpa in silence, and we hear, like, Hannah giggling. So we have yet to see her talk to Colton at all on this very important date. And then he comes back in and gets a rose, and we just watch Cassie and Kirpa observe this. I mean, obviously, at this point, like, Kirpa is going to go home. Cassie's going to get hometowns. Like, she was never going to finish better than Cassie. Like, Kirpa was never going to finish ahead of her. This is ridiculous. I also can't believe that Tayshia and Kaylin are even sitting in the same room together. We finally see them together. And Kaylin's like, I just can't pick one of these 3. So they must know Heather's gone already. Like, yes, girls, Kirpa's going home. Like, duh. The door opens and Hannah is back with a rose. I would like to repeat, we never saw Hannah talk to Colton the entire episode. Not a word. And yet she gets a rose to go to hometowns. Not a single freaking word. So Hannah G comes home and says to Tayshia and Kaylin, girls, you missed a lot. Now Colton's meeting with Kirpa, and he goes, I want you to know I appreciate your honesty on everything today. And she says, I'm glad that you trust me. He didn't say that. Oh my God, producers must be working so hard. Oh, I got a really good pause here on Cassie's hair. So he like kisses Kirpa, which I thought was weird, and then Kaylin just walks in past Cassie and Kirpa, who are still sitting at the table. Kaylin just walks in her sweats and a denim jacket, doesn't even say anything, goes up the stairs, and Cassie, in mid-pause, is here with her hair. Look at where I got it. Like, yeah. So Kaylin, who is good friends with Cassie, was like, I would hate for you to send someone home you have a connection with and then have regrets. It's the last thing we hear. Then she walks by again without saying a word and barely looking at Kirpa and Cassie and leaves. And here comes Colton down the steps to, dear God, set us all free from this prison of this freakish 4-on-1 date that happened today. Ugh, I want to go to bed. Cassie gets the rose, which means it's finally over. And this is just way easier to figure out than the Instagram algorithm ever will be. Yes, Kirpa, maybe it would have been nice for him to meet your family, but, like, it was never going to happen. You guys never had a connection, like, about anything. Just take this crap to Bachelor in Paradise. We know we're going to see you there. The food is just so arbitrary at this point on these dates. Can't they just be waiting on a bench at a bus stop? I mean, that's really all this is at this point. So let's see. Heather and Kirpa went home. Hannah B went home. And we thought before of those final 5 that are there anyway. Hannah B was always the maybe. So basically it's a whole wasted episode where if you followed the series, you knew exactly what was going to happen anyway. And he says he's falling in love with Cassie, and her and Kaylin are like BFFs, so it's going to be really awkward when they're the final 2. I just realized I thought he was going to jump over the fence, and it didn't happen. I was looking forward to it. whoever the blonde lady is with the glasses that Hannah G's talking to, if that's her mother, automatically who I am most excited to see and talk to and hear from next week. So, what do y'all think about who's going to go home after hometowns? I mean, assuming Kayla and Cassie keep going, because they probably will. Hannah G or Tayshia, who goes home first? Like, I would think Tayshia, but like, I don't know, guys. Anyway, thanks for watching another wonderful episode of The Bachelor. We are ever so close to Colton having a winner. I have rehearsal next Monday, so it will probably be another late night. Then the following Monday, March 4th, I am off. See you then.